So today has been a very interesting day. This is going to be primarily about my job search in the Pittsburgh area. As soon as I arrived, I applied for a number of positions, mainly using the website at Indeed. Because my most recent job experience has been as a cashier. Most of the positions have been customer service related, and the very first position that I applied for was listed as a customer service representative, I believe is how they phrased it. And in the description, it seemed like it might be a call center where people call in and you help them with their accounts and that sort of thing. It turned out to be more of a sales position. This particular company, which I think is kind of dishonest and disreputable, has because I've seen a number of positions open for the same company, and the descriptions vary slightly, and so does the salary range. But it turns out to be more like a sales position. They also like determined as a management training program because they want to build you up to a certain level, so you're training other people and earning like a bigger commission on sales. So the first position I applied for was for they seem to be companies that represent other companies. So it's like a hiring firm that represents or marketing sales firm that represents a particular larger company. So the first of those, I didn't had a Zoom interview with two other people, I believe, which also was not made clear when they scheduled the Zoom interview. They made it sound like it was going to be a one-on-one interview with the hiring manager, but it turned out to be basically like a cattle call. So I didn't make it past the first round on that one. Then a similar position I applied for, which was more honest in the description. And I made it again. It was in another Zoom interview with two other people. I apparently made a better impression on that one, and I made it through to the second round for an in-person interview in the Pittsburgh proper area. That interview was as early this morning at 8:30 a.m. So that was interesting. I thought when I originally looked at the route into Pittsburgh, it showed me going through the famous Fort Pitt Tunnel route and into across the bridge to see the Pittsburgh skyline. So I was curious to see about that. However, this morning when I did the route on Google Maps, it suggested a better route that was more direct and less traffic. And I was nervous enough as it is, so I decided to go that way. So it was, I wouldn't say it was back roads, but it was kind of back roads. It wasn't the direct across the bridge freeway mostly route. So I apologize to the drivers in Pittsburgh who I annoyed because at least two people honked at me. And I apologize if you're watching, if you managed to find this video. You may be able to tell by my Florida license plate. I am new here. I am dealing with a GPS system that is sometimes very unhelpful. So I did the best I could to at least two people honked at me going in there. But it is what it is. I, did the best I could and, had to get where I needed to get. So I was there. I got there, I think maybe 7 o'clock. I was trying to avoid traffic as much as possible, but I think a lot of people try to do the same thing as try to leave very early so that they avoid a lot of the traffic. going into Pittsburgh. And so I didn't avoid as much traffic as I thought I was going to. I did, however, manage to get a parking spot easily. There was open parking when I got there. There was limited, I knew there was limited street parking near the building. So that's why another reason why I left so early. So I got a parking spot. I just waited around for a while. I followed the directions to get into the building. However, didn't know that if you were there so early, you needed some sort of key fob to get into the building and get to the floor that you need to get. But luckily, another person who worked in the building was there, and they helped me get to where I needed to get. So I just waited around for a while. I was, nervous enough as it was. But then, I saw a lot of the people who worked there were young urban professionals, very well dressed. And I felt like I stood out like a sore thumb. And there was nothing I could do about that. So I just, brazened it out, met the interviewer. I got through the interview. I don't think it went well. I mean, I went as well as it could go, but it did ultimately, I don't think I made it to the final round because they haven't called yet. They said they would call by 6:00 or today, and they haven't called. So I made it to the second round. I don't think I made it to the final round. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. This is not the kind of position that I really wanted because it does, although they say it's a management training program, it is sales. It does sound like would have been, my life would have been the job instead of me having a job to have a life. Then don't get me wrong. I intend to work hard and earn my paycheck. But I didn't want my life the job to become my life, because there are other things I would like to do. I would like to go into work, do my, work hard and earn the paycheck, and then go home and leave the job at the job and be able to do other things with my free time. And I don't think this kind of position would have allowed me to do that. I also had another interview today, which was a phone interview. So I got the in-person interview over with. I drove back to the motel, which thankfully I didn't manage to annoy anybody. I did not get no honking on the way back. So, good for me. I managed to get in and out of Pittsburgh without any injuries or damage to my car. So awesome. That's good. So I came back here and just settled in for this phone interview for a position that I think is more in line with my needs and desires at this point. It's for a call center nearby. So I had an interview with a nice woman. That went very well. There was a technical proficiency test I needed to do. I did that. I passed it 100%, so good for me. I had to send her the results of that, and then she scheduled me for an interview, another Zoom interview for tomorrow morning. And she sent me, more detail, because I wasn't really familiar with the company, but now I am, because they sent me some information on the company and their benefits and that. So it sounds good. It sounds like just the kind of position I need. So hopefully this goes well. I'm going to try to do my best and try to impress them in the interview. And so hopefully this works out. I do have some other feelers out there, but let's hope that this one is the one. Let's see, anything else? I don't know. I think that covers my day. I did go back on the way home from the interview, I did go through the Fort Pitt Tunnel the other way. So I didn't get to see the pretty view. I did see some of the landscape, the landmark buildings, in, going in, but didn't see the pretty bridge view that, everybody shows. Um, I'm sure one day I'll get to see that. Hopefully when I'm not driving, because yeah, was paying more attention to driving and not getting into an accident than looking at the scenery. So, but that's all. Thank you. Thank you for watching.